Hi there. Thursday, what's the date? 3rd of April. Blimey, how fast is it going? We're off to retreat tomorrow, so that's 10 days. So we're not going to be here for 10 days, okay? There's no one in the shop, and we won't be doing lives. You never know, there might be a live come from the retreats, but we don't know. Postage, Sean will still be doing postage, but it won't be every day, so there might be a bit of a delay in the postage, so don't expect it to be as speedy Amazon, because we're not. What else was I supposed to tell you? Sarah said sorry that she wasn't here yesterday. She's still a bit wheezy, so we don't know what hit her. We don't know whether she's got a cold coming or whether her allergies went sky high yesterday, but she couldn't hold a sentence without a sneezing fit, so she was better off not on there. She'd have deafened you all. Sarah's back on Secret Sewing on Sunday. Yeah, Secret Sewing Club on Sunday. So yeah, it's going to be a mad week. We're on retreat now for 10 days, and on the Saturday that we finish, Sarah then goes with Phil at 6:30 in the morning up to Rugeley to do the Secret Sewing retreat, which there's still places on there. If you wanted to do it, you could. We could, if you're on our retreat, we could throw you in the back of the van if you want. So yeah, so she'll be going there, and then she's on Secret Sewing then on the Sunday. I don't know when she sleeps. I don't know. She certainly wasn't sleeping this week, let's put it that way. So, hiya Anne, hiya Claire, hiya Jean. Right, there's people there, there might be people watching, maybe not now, but later, who don't know who I am. You see Sarah on Sewing Street and Secret Sewing. I'm Sarah Jane, and I have a completely different outlook of sewing than Sarah does, okay? So today we're doing a boot bag. Now I haven't got one to show you because I didn't have the time. I went to find the 7 bore on Monday instead of doing my work at home. So I've prepped it a bit, but I'm going to walk you all the way through it, okay? And hopefully at the end of it we will have a boot bag, because I've got boots that need a bag. I thought that would be quite cool. Whether I'd ever use it, because I'll just pick my boots, but maybe I'll store them in the boot bag. When we did our live for Secret Sewing on the craft store last week, Sarah was showing you all this fabric, okay, this fabric, and it's a canvas. It's 60 wide. No, yeah, 60 or 90. No, it's more than 90. It might be 60 or 90 wide. It's a wide one. It's a canvas. It's a cotton canvas. And I said, oh, I could see a boot bag in that. So that's why we're doing a boot bag. Okay. So, like I say, different style to Sarah. Nothing's prepped. I went gallivanting. I don't know that I need the iron. I'm using vinyl. So we're going to leave that. So who's there? Hiya Anne and Claire and Jean and Liz and Lynn. And it's just lovely to see you all. Even if I can't see you, you know what I mean. Right, let's go over here and have a look and see what I've been doing. So, we are going to do a boot bag. Now, I wanted to show you how I got to it. Okay, anybody can do this. This is not something that is rocket science at all. We're going to put binding on the outside, so there's no putting a lining in and everything, and we're using a zippity-doo-dun zip because I wasn't sure how to explain what I was going to do with the zip, so we're using a zippity-doo-dun. Best zip ever. You'll never use another zip for things like this. Right, so on here, I'm trying to look, make sure that I've got, I think, 5. There we go. We'll go close up. I measured my boots. There's my boots, my lovely walking boots, right? So I measured how long they were, how high they were, and then worked out that it needed a slope. All right. So I measured them at 13 and 9 going up, which gave me a little bit of on the top, and then sloped it. Okay. Then I drew it out with my things that I'd written on there, and I just put a boot on it and thought, maybe it's be a bit bigger, and I'm wondering now whether I've made it big enough. Okay. Then I traced it out again and made a proper template. It looks like Postman Pat's van, doesn't it? So that's what I've done. I've taken my fabric and I've cut it a lot bigger than it needs to be. Probably a lot bigger than I need, but I wanted to be able to sort of maybe do it so that I know I'm going to get ducks in, geese in. There's probably better, isn't it? There. And then I've put my lining on here, and I've put a wiggly line in to match the wiggly lines on here, so it doesn't, but it keeps the lining together. And then I've got some vinyl. All right, so I've got two pieces of fabric with the lining attached already, 2 pieces of vinyl, at least I think it's 2. Now I don't know whether this is going to work. Okay, so we're just trying it out. So there's 2 pieces of vinyl like that. Okay, and then my other piece of fabric on the top. All right, now I can't work out duck positions, but I've made sure that my ducks on the back are they're up the right way. Okay, so I've just put them together like that. Now vinyl, I don't want to pin the vinyl in the middle because I don't want holes in it, so we're just going to do this in the corners, which hopefully will hold it all together. Okay, so we're now going to put our template on there, and I'm going to freehand it because I don't want to. I will put clips on after. Okay, so we need to move all that wireage out of the way, because this, I'm sure she moves the camera every week, so we need to move that up so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I want to do it so that duck's in there. We've got all those ducks, and I've got a duck on the toe. I've no idea what the ducks are doing on the other side, but here we go. Right, we want to make sure it's all flat, and we're just going to freehand it along here. Now I've had to stand up for this. I've curved my edges because it makes it easier to put binding on. You know, curved my corners because it really does make putting binding on a lot easier. So we're just going around here. Now if I'd thought about it, I should have put this on a circular, because I can hear everybody going, don't do that! Right, so we need to come round here, and then it's just round the corner. like that. Okay, so we're now going to put clips. Hi Carolyn, I haven't packed yet. It's I haven't even thought about it. And Mary's in. Mary, don't worry, pack your tuffet, because I'll take the tuffet kit. Okay. Hiya Carol, how are you? And Jill, can I still make a boot if I haven't got a pair of walk? Of course you can make a boot bag. You can make it for your wellies. All you have to do is measure your diameters and you'll be able to make a boot bag any way you want. You can make it for your shoes. You know, if you're going on holiday. Right, that one, I think that one is free. There we go. Like that. There's a pair of scissors in there. Rather than giving everybody kittens with me doing my rotary cutter all the way round. So really this just shows you that you can make anything just by freehanding, working out where you want it, what you want to do. There you go. So that's all done there. Should open your box before you do anything. There you go. Right. So I'm just going to pin these so that they're all together. All right. Or clip these. There we go. So that's my boot bit. All right. So we're just going to put this to one side now while we concentrate on the next bit. I've made a handle. Okay. I started with a that's come out at 1.5. So I think you start with a 4. 4 folds in half becomes 2, and then you fold it in together and then fold it over, and I've just top stitched it all the way round. Okay, and I thought I was really clever. I managed to get a goose right in the middle, or near enough in the middle. I have cut, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches wide, and I have 2 of these. Okay. And I've what's it called? I've quilted them, or quilted them together, put them together, and I have pieces of vinyl to go with them. Okay, and the idea is I'm going to pin those together. So I've made these a lot longer because I had this is all 1/2 meter of fabric. I had them all, and I've done them all so that they're longer than what I need, like. Okay, so that one there I'm going to keep like that, and then I put this one on the vinyl, and I'm gonna hold that together there. And again, I'm using the clips so I don't put any holes in my vinyl. And then we're going to sandwich these two between the zip. Now I don't think I need an 18-inch, but we're going to sew that on anyway. Oh, should have asked Sarah for some orange thread. Okay. So zippity-doo done, if you've not seen one before, they're an 18-inch zip, and they come with the bias already on them. So all you have to do is put that in there. Okay. So we want to make sure that all of this sits, and we're going to slot that into there. Okay, now I'm going to be sewing on the edge, so I could put pins in there to hold it in place. Make sure it doesn't move because it's going to be within my seam allowance. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there like that, all the way down. And I'm putting it all in because I'm going to cut my gusset off to fit. Okay, so I'll put a pin in there like that, and we're going to take it to the machine, and I'm just going to put a stitch all the way down here. Now if I was at home I would do this in orange, but I didn't think to ask, so we are just going to sew it down there. Okay, so have you drawn the animal challenge? Oh no, perhaps Sarah will do it this afternoon. Let's pack the van first, and then we can look at doing that. So I'm just going to pick a point on my foot and just stitch it. You don't want to be stitching too many lines on this, because you don't want the vinyl to rip. Okay, now I've put the vinyl in. Oh no, we're all slipping out. I think I've done enough anyway, but it's just so we've done one side. 3. So we can take those out, and then we're going to just slip this one in on the other side. Okay, so make sure that your vinyl is there. Now because I don't need 18 inches of zip, it doesn't matter where it goes. I'm not trying to line it all up. So put a pin in there, hold it in like that, and I'm going to slot that in. You can see my vinyl is a bit shorter. I think I cut my vinyl to what I thought I was going to need. There we go, and put that in there. No, that's not caught the vinyl. So we're putting that through there. You can feel it pushing through the vinyl, so I knew it wasn't there. Okay, so we just put another stitch. Ow! Oof! There's more DNA I'm leaving on stuff. Right, so we're just going to put another stitch down there. Okay, Hi Melba, how are you? How's Sarah feeling? Sarah's feeling a lot better. She is still very snuffly. We don't know whether it's a cold or her hay fever allergies. So we shall wait and see. We just have to be really kind to her at the retreat and make sure she gets a bit of rest. As if. So going along here, I'd have to take that bit off my my foot, I think. If I I just never get used to it. I keep cutting the thread. Right. See, I've done it again. There we go. So that's done that. Okay. Hopefully it won't matter that I've managed to cut the thread twice. Where are we? 3. So now we have a zip. Okay. Now we need to work out. I wanted 10 inches. I reckoned my boots needed 10 inches. Which, to be fair, is not too bad here. If I put my middle of my boots are in the middle of the zip, I would say that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So we're just going to trim this one off. All right, I'm going to trim it off at the edges at least, so I'm not messing around with it as we're thing. So we want it to be 10 inches, and at the moment I've got 10 and a half. So if I 10 and a half, yeah, 10 and a half, no, nearly 11. So where's my middle? My middle is just under 5 and a half. So if I put that there, I haven't got to trim off very much. So how long's that? That's 2 inches wide, isn't it? 2 inches wide. So I want it to be 10. So 4 inches from the edge of the zip. Oh, look at me doing maths, look. We're just going to trim that off so that I know that that's the right size that I want. So 4 inches on this side as well. 4 inches. There we go. It's 4 inches. So now we want to work out, I want to zip here to here, really, don't I? To about there, you reckon? Will that open enough for me to get my boots in? That's another thing. Is it going to open enough for me to get my boots in? So about here. Is that going to mark? She got a white one. Is that a white one? No. Use a pincer. Right. About there, we reckon. Okay, there. So what I'm going to do is I have another piece. See the way the brain works? It's slow, but it gets there. Right, so we have another piece which is 10 inches wide. Look at that, it's almost as if it was made for it. And I want to sew this to here. No. You're going to have to sew it that way. Okay, I need to sew it in place that way. So right sides together, but backwards for what you think. Look at the length of this. There's like twice as much as I need there. And then you're going to sew it so that it folds back like that. Okay? Does that make sense? It makes perfect sense. So, if we bring that bit there, if we bring that bit to there, like that, and put this in place, I know that I'm not sewing through a goose on this side. We'll have a headless goose, but we can pretend he put his head in the water, can't we? Okay, so if I put a crease along there like that, okay, and fold that out, I know I've got to sew on that crease. Okay, let's just make sure it's straight. There we go. So I'm going to now sew along this crease, which then will be at the place that I want it, hopefully. Okay, let's go. Are you all with me so far? Is it making any sense as to what I'm doing, or am I just confusing the hell out of you all? So I'm following that line now that I've just creased, and I hope that I'm following the right crease. Along here. But by doing it this way, you can see a design process that goes with it. Okay. No. 3. Okay, so you can see a design process that's going with it. So now I have my unzipped gusset attached to my zipped gusset. Honestly, this doesn't take very long at all. So we're now going to cut that. I'm going to cut it at 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch like that. And then if we fold that over, if you then trim that bit off, no, there's a boot bag there, don't worry about it. You could overlock that or bind it. If we put a top stitch through there, that will, oh bum, we're going to have to put a top stitch through anyway, because I forgot an important process in the design feature. I forgot the vinyl. Okay, so rather than undo it, no, look at that, my vinyl's not going to go down. Oh well. Make sure your vinyl fits your piece of fabric. I forgot they were shorter. So I need to now put this in there, and then I'm going to fold that. So if I attach that to there like that and that, were you screaming at me? We should I forgot the vinyl. Right, so we're now going to fold this. No, we're not. There we go. We're now going to fold this like that and make sure the vinyl is now sandwiched in there. Hiya Ali, how you doing? Has your mum found a house yet? Right. So we're now going to try and sew that vinyl in, because I completely forgot it. And we're going to ignore the fact that the one underneath is too short. It's not like I do a lot of tramping in my boots. Where's your fang? I'm now sewing with the vinyl on the bottom, which might be what's causing an issue. So I'm just putting, oh, sorry, You missed the... There we go. So we just put in a quick top stitch through there. Oh, I've done it again. Oh. There we go. Okay, we were going to do the top stitch anyway, and now, so this is my back, okay? This is the back. Now what we need to do is fit this to this. Have I, oh. Hi Jackie, how you doing? When do you put the handle on? Now. We'll put the handle on now. That's a good idea. Let's see where it's going to fit, and then we'll put the handle on then after. So this now is my side. So I want one of the pieces of vinyl. I did put two in, didn't I? I think where I've cut it, I've used the lightweight vinyl, so it's floppy, because I thought we might want to you might want to put it fold it down at any point to shove in a drawer or something, so I thought we would work that bit out with a floppy vinyl. Right, we need this now to fit. So this is where I start to wonder what my choices in life are. Now I want to make it fit and trim it down so that I can sew it into a circle. Now we could do that on the paper piece. If we do it on the paper piece, it won't matter if anything happens to my paper piece, really. So we want to start back here, okay? And we are going to clip it so that it goes around. Because we're using binding, we're not going to have to sew it right sides together. We're going to sew it wrong sides together with the binding. So this needs to come around the corner like that. Josh is cooking bacon, and it's smoky bacon, and it actually smells like bacon, which is really cool. So, right, this bit is not going to reach the toe. So we need this bit. We need to start here, I'm guessing. Start there and have that bit at the bottom. Yeah. Have that bit further to the bottom. You don't want it right on the bottom. You want a bit of a lip, I think. So we're going to work our way up here this way, and like that. And this is going to come round then, around this corner, like that, and like that. So we've come to the end of this piece of fabric, which is the shorter piece of fabric, so at least I've done that bit right. There we go. There. So now we need this one to come around here. And you're going to see I've got so much extra fabric here. So this one is going to come along here, like that, and like that. a lot of the things that I do, you know, especially these ones where you add a gusset, there's a lot of pinning it in place before you do any sewing. So I mean, even when I have worked out the pattern, I still suggest that you do it, because our everybody's sewing techniques are so different. You know, a bit like knitting techniques and stuff. Some of us knit tighter than others, and as you sew, this will push as well. So you don't want to make it too. Oh, there's not that much left over, is there? You don't want to make it bigger when you add the gusset bits together. You don't want to make them bigger because the sewing machine is going to push this going forward anyway. So now you can see we've put this all the way round. So there's our boot bag going round. Okay, so I now need to work out where I need to finish. Now these actually finished there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a snip where they actually meet, because you can see I've not done it very tight. So do that where they actually meet, like that, and then I'm going to take them all off again. And then we're going to sew the gussets together. What are we doing for time? Like that. We're going to now put these two, make sure they're all flat and they're all sorted. Like that. So there's our slit there. Okay, so I'm just making sure that my vinyl is not going to move, and we want to fold it in half and put your other end on that slit there. Okay, and then I'm going to sew from the edge. I'm actually going to be a brave girl, and I am going to trim it at that point because it will make it easier to sew. So fingers crossed, girls. So there's my slit there. So I'm going to trim it along there. I'm going to open that zip out of the way. There we go, along there, like that. What have I got there? There we are, that'll be better. So we're going to trim it along there. I'm going to make sure that I'm lined up on a line down the bottom here. I'm making sure that that's all lined up so that it looks, at first glance, it looks straight. And we're going to trim that right off there. And I'm now going to sew I'm now going to sew these two together like that. Okay, make sure that I've got all of everything together. Okay, so we can do this without cutting it. Now, like I say, you could bind this. I'm guessing edge of foot will do. And the vinyl, you have to remember the vinyl doesn't like being sewn on. You can use a Teflon foot, would probably be a good idea here. It's not sliding. Oh, stop it! And see how fast it goes over the over the zip compared to the vinyl. I don't know about you lot, but it's hard work. Okay, so we now have our gusset. Okay. Look at that. Oh. And we've closed our zip off nicely because, you know, and if I had the time here now, I would overlock or put binding on my raw edges inside. So we now have that. Okay, so we're now going to put this wrong sides together, and we're only going to do the one because of time. We're going to put our what's it called? Our handle on first. Now I'm going to put it on this seam here, like that, and I'm going to baste it in place. Okay, I'm going to make sure that everything is tidy. Now I made this 11 inches long because I wanted a bit of a loop, but I don't want a big loop. Now you could put it, if you were carrying boots around with you, you could put a higher, a longer strap so that you can throw it over. I think I might put a stitch in there first. When do you put the handle on? Now, Jean. You're going to do it now, like. Right, I'm going to try and put in a top stitch without sewing everything into it. This stuff frays like mad. I'm wrinkling it up more. By putting the top stitch in, it's going to hold my the ujima, what's it, the zip. It's going to give it a little bit more thing. Lost the handle then. Let's make sure me bird's ran the right way. So I'm gonna just baste it. Wasn't that one, was it? It was this one. Just gonna baste it in place. Now you can put the handle wherever you want, okay? Don't worry about, you know. Let's have a look and see where this one goes. Like that. Put one handle on, and then put the other side on. Like that. Okay, so we put the handle on. We're now going to pin this in here, like this. So I'm going to make sure all of this is together. This is where pinning would be a really nice idea. So where did we reckon? We reckoned that was going to go around. We started at the other end, didn't we? Okay. Now, I don't know what's the best way of keeping all this together. I don't know whether it's better to stick your clips and then just take them out as you go around. Right, so we wanted this bit at the toe. We're doing long sleeves together. So we want this there. So we're going to put that on there, and then we're just going to work our way around. Okay. So what you all got planned for this weekend? I know some of you are coming to join us, but it's supposed to be really... Is this weather supposed to last over the weekend? It would be lovely if it is. I'll be mostly sewing. Sarah's got a list as long as my arm, and I've got long arms, of stuff that needs making ready for Sewing Street. So we're going to be busy making pouches and bags and quilts. So we're just fighting with the vinyl all the way around. Now at least the vinyl will stick to itself and hopefully won't move as we go around. So while we're doing this, I'll talk about the binding. Now I've cut it on a bias because I'm going around these corners. If you don't have enough fabric, you could do it on the straight. Make your the bits that go around, you make them shallow. That's the answer, is don't make them too round, I think, and then you can, the bias then will you don't need the bias. Okay. Oh, that was a different one. Oh, they're cute. So we're just working our way around and putting this in place. This side is probably my most awkward side. I would probably find the other side easier, so it's always better to do your most awkward side first, because at least then you're not having to fight to get things around. So at this point you're praying. I'm praying now. Praying I am. It's going to fit. Okay. So far so good. And here. You got your fingers crossed for me? You're watching while in the car. You're already heading down. Oh, amazing. Do I keep going in and out? So we are in the middle of packing that van. It's only a small van. I'm surprised she got a small van. You'd think that it would be, you need a bigger van. See, now I made that. I made the decision to cut that so that it was slightly smaller and it fits. It fits pretty well. If we start at this end here, I think by the time we've worked our way around, it's going to have moved anyway. Because at the moment I've got more of the outside. I think it will all go in. If not, we'll trim it and make it fit. Okay, binding. I cut a 2-inch binding, which I've lost. I cannot find. Where have I put it? Where did it go? I had it. Oh, there it is. I had it. So I've cut a 2-inch binding on the bias so that there's a bit of stretch for going around the corners. I've sewn it at the 45-degree angle so that when you flip it out, it goes flat. Okay. Now I haven't ironed it. Let's make sure we got it round the right way. I am just going to sew it unironed. And we're going to start at this end. Okay, I'm going to start here like that, and I'm going to work my way around and put the binding and sew it all together at the same time, because like I say, you don't want to put too many holes in your vinyl, because otherwise it's just going to tear. Okay, so we're going along there, and I think do we do it on the inside? It's going to look better. No, because that'll be on the top, won't it? We're going to do it that way. Right, over here. Oh, this is a long one today. I'm sorry. I don't have short ideas. Well, I had a short idea last week. Okay, so this is not going to be the easiest thing to sew. So I'm sewing on the top, and I'm just going to work it all the way round, and I can already see it unraveling here. You could baste it together, I suppose. All my vinyl underneath seems to be spray basting. Spray basting might have worked. We're just going to work our way around, making sure everything is together as we go. And keep our fingers crossed. When you're doing binding, don't pull it. The urge is to pull it into position. You need to encourage it. Oh, I've missed it. Look at it. Need to encourage it rather than pull it in places. You can see me having to unpick some of this. Right. Have I just chopped it again? So try and make sure that you're keeping everything flat as you go round. And keep an eye on your seam. It's got stuck. Make sure my handle is flat. flat. It's not the best binding I've ever put on. Going around this corner now. So like I say, you've got to try and not drag it round the corner. You've just got to place it. So keep manoeuvring your top piece, definitely. It seems to be the one that keeps moving. I think it's because it's not flat. So okay. We could redo some of our earlier demos. That's very true. I mean, we're trying to. We have brought through a couple of our older demos with a bit of a change. You know that I always have like 4 things that I would have done differently. Okay. So hi Anne, how are you? We're making a boot bag. A boot bag, which I've just completely missed the bottom line. I think this is the reason why you should try things out before you teach them. Because I'm sure there must be we could have put glue stick. Could have put a glue stick on this. I've lost a piece of. Oh, there it is. I'm really fighting with this now. Okay. It might be that you'll have an idea of how it should be. If you used an oilcloth on the inside, I mean, originally I thought shower curtain, but then it meant that I had to go out and buy a shower curtain because I don't have one hanging around in the house. So I decided, I had vinyl in the house, that we would use the vinyl. I think a shower curtain, you could use that as the inside of your boot bag, and it would probably sit better. I think I've lost the bottom again. No, you're doing all right. So nearly at the end. To yourself when you're at home, or are you too busy listening to the radio and things? I know there's some sewers that, oh look, I've lost the whole thing. It's just slipped out underneath. I think it got caught on the bottom. We're gonna have a look at it. I've been sewing it onto nothing. So you can see from this, that your binding then is just going to come over. Maybe I need a 2.5 inch, because you would then fold it over and sew it, and I would sew it by hand just onto your front bit. Yeah, use a 2.5 inch binding. I thought it would be neater if it was just a 2, and if you sew it properly, it is. Look at that. Along there, it works perfectly. Let's have a pin in there. That would go along there. I think I had a bigger gap there. If you used real bias, you could probably sew it all in one. You know, or a bias. The June Taylor bias is wider, so you could, like that. So it's going to be like that. So that would be my boot bag. Let's see. It actually works. Look at that. The boots fit in there. Lovely. You do it up, and they're going to carry. So where are we? Oh, no, number 2. So because I've already taken an hour, we're going to stop there. But there, that's the boot bag. How cool is that? It does work, and I think you can see that it's quite stable on this side once you've done it all, you know. And the boots will go in there. You could get a couple of pairs of socks in there as well. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I will finish that one. My ducks are upside down on the back, but you know, why would you worry about that? They're all perfectly on the front. So yeah, that's not a bad thing. It just needs perfecting. But I had completely started sewing the binding onto just the one side, not the 2. So we will leave it there because you know I get flustered. It looks good. I'm really quite happy with that. So perhaps I'll take it to the retreat and finish it and swear at it there. I don't forget that we're not here now for 10 days. If you order on the website, Sean will be in a couple of times to do the postage. Anybody that that saw Sarah wasn't well yesterday, she's feeling much better. If you go up in the comments, I think she did comment. I did see. Hiya Karen, how are you? And Carol. Hiya Carol. Are you on retreat, Carol? So that's it. That's me. I'm done. I'm gonna go and eat now. I've talked for an hour, which is quite long for me. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.